It was the first Monday of a new term at Crestwood High, the kind of school where students judged authority before they respected it. The morning sun filtered through the tall windows of Class 10B, where whispers floated across the room like ghosts of trouble waiting to happen. Everyone was buzzing about the new teacher who was about to replace Mr. Ellison, the strict old-timer who had mysteriously resigned after a nervous breakdown. When the door finally creaked open, a tall, confident figure stepped in, Ms. Iman, young, poised, dressed in a simple cream blouse and slacks, her hair tied in a neat bun, and her voice as calm as falling snow. The students froze. She was nothing like what they expected. There was no nervousness in her posture, no stack of books clutched like a shield. She greeted them with a simple smile, "Good morning, everyone. Let's begin with roll call." But among the students sat three well-known names. Zain, the self-proclaimed leader of the group, Bilal, the muscle without a mind, and Haya, whose cruel sarcasm cut deeper than a blade. Together they were known as the Untouchables, infamous for driving away 2 substitute teachers in the past semester alone. As Ms. Iman calmly called out names, Zain whispered loud enough to be heard, "Guess they'll let anyone teach these days." Laughter broke out, but Ms. Iman didn't flinch. She noted the response and moved on. But when she got to Haya's name and pronounced it slightly wrong, Haya stood, walked slowly up to the desk, and said mockingly, "It's Haya, sweetie. Not Haya. Better remember before someone tears more than your reputation." The class gasped. Ms. Iman smiled gently and said, "Thank you for correcting me. Let's all be patient with each other." But Zain wasn't done. He stood too, walking up beside Haya with Bilal smirking behind. "Patience isn't really our thing," Zain said smugly. And before anyone could react, he reached out and tugged hard, ripping the side of Ms. Iman's shirt, buttons popping and fabric tearing with a sharp sound that silenced the room. A cold hush fell like a curtain. For a second, even the bullies looked shocked. Then the room exploded with gasps and phones flashing to record. But Ms. Iman didn't yell. She didn't cry. She looked at them, straight into their souls, and said in a voice lower than thunder but heavier than a storm, "You shouldn't have done that." The three laughed nervously, trying to act unfazed. "What? Gonna cry?" Haya jeered, but her voice cracked slightly. Ms. Iman slowly walked to her bag, unzipped it, and pulled out a folded black cloth. Without a word, she changed right there, calmly, behind the classroom door. The silence was eerie. When she returned, she wasn't just a teacher anymore. She had changed into a traditional martial arts uniform, belt tight, posture perfect, gaze focused like a hawk. "Time for a lesson," she said, as she walked to the center of the classroom. The air felt different, heavier, electric. "Whoever thinks disrespect has no consequence, come forward." At first no one moved. Then Zain, trying to regain face, swaggered toward her. "You think you scare me in your pajamas?" But within seconds, his smirk disappeared. Ms. Iman moved like lightning, flipping him to the ground with one hand. Bilal charged in anger, but was met with a spin kick that knocked the chair from under him. Haya, trying to record everything, found her phone slipping from her hands as Ms. Iman disarmed her and pinned her arm gently but firmly behind her back. The entire class screamed, not in laughter, but shock. The once feared bullies were now crying for mercy. "We're sorry. We didn't know, please stop," they begged, sprawled on the floor, red-faced and breathless. Ms. Iman looked at the class. "Let this be the first and last lesson in respect." And just like that, she walked back to the front of the class, smoothed her uniform, and resumed roll call. No one dared whisper. No one dared blink. The video of the incident went viral within minutes. Parents, teachers, the principal, everyone saw it. But Ms. Iman was calm, serene even, as she walked into the staff room and sipped her tea. "They'll learn," she said. "And I'm not going anywhere." But what they didn't know was this was only the beginning. The school wasn't just plagued by students, it hid something darker, something that had followed her here. And next time, it wouldn't be just a torn shirt, but a fight for justice much bigger than anyone expected. To know what happened next, don't forget to subscribe and continue to Chapter 2. Chapter 2, The Dark Secret Behind the Classroom Walls. Crestwood High was buzzing. The video of Ms. Iman flipping the school's most notorious bullies had not only gone viral but sparked a revolution. Students were suddenly quiet in class, teachers began regaining confidence, and the principal, Mr. Farouk, had offered her a permanent post. But Ms. Iman knew the fight wasn't over. She didn't come here just to teach. She came to investigate. What no one knew was that 5 years ago, her younger brother had been a student at this very school, bright, kind, a scholarship student named Musa. And just like now, this school had a dark underbelly masked by discipline and rules. Bullies ran rampant, protected by rich parents and corrupt staff. Musa had been one of their victims. The official story said he jumped from the roof. But Ms. Iman knew it was a lie. That's why she changed careers, trained in martial arts, and studied psychology. That's why she requested a transfer here. She wasn't just here to teach, she was here for justice. And the real battle began the day she entered the locked records room. A single file hidden beneath layers of old complaints revealed everything. Musa's file had been altered. The 3 bullies, Zain, Bilal, and Haya, had siblings in Musa's class. All of them were involved in incidents that were covered up. Worse, a security guard who witnessed Musa's fall had been fired silently. That same day, strange things began happening. Ms. Iman received a note in her drawer: "Stop digging or you'll be next." Her scooter brakes were tampered with. Her home was broken into. But she didn't stop. Instead, she gathered students she had earned respect from, silent victims who finally found a voice. Together, they formed a group called the Phoenix Club. Secretly, after school, they trained in self-defense, studied corruption cases, and began uncovering evidence. Zain, Bilal, and Haya, now quiet in class, were called in by their parents and threatened to take back control or lose their privileges. Desperate to save face, they conspired one final plan: to frame Ms. Iman for abuse. They planted evidence, recorded fake clips, and sent it to the school board. But Ms. Iman was 10 steps ahead. She had hidden cameras in her class, backup files, student testimonies, and even the whistleblower guard she had tracked down. On the day of the board hearing, the school hall was packed. Zain's father, a wealthy businessman, sneered as he presented his son's evidence. But Ms. Iman calmly connected her laptop and played the real footage: the shirt tearing, the training sessions, the tearful confessions of past victims, and the security guard's recorded statement. The room went silent. Then applause erupted. The board not only cleared her name but suspended all involved in the cover-up, including the corrupt vice principal. The parents of the bullies faced public shame, and the students began forming support groups across campuses. But even as she stood in the spotlight, Ms. Iman stepped down from the stage. "This was never about revenge," she said. "It's about standing when no one else will." As she walked out, students followed, teachers too. A movement had begun. Ms. Iman opened her own academy for self-defense and justice, where bullied students turned into brave leaders. And Crestwood. It became the safest school in the city. So next time you think one teacher can't change the system, think again. Because sometimes, the strongest warriors wear chalk dust on their sleeves. If this story moved you, subscribe now. More stories are coming. And remember, one voice can spark a revolution.